there, welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you some networking tips because as we all know, networking takes some strategic planning and effort. So the better you are at networking, the more likely you can find a great job and also expand your career horizon and meet a lot of interesting people. And that might also help you with your entrepreneurship venture and other things in life as well. So I'm going to share some networking tips that really benefited my career. If you like this episode, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, or leave some comments or suggestions in the comment section below. Greatly appreciate your help and support. Let's get started. When it comes to LinkedIn outreach message, so in that short amount of space, you want to be very clear on why you connect with that, why you want to connect with that person. I don't think you should mention I want a job referral from you right off the bat, even if that's your end goal. You should share a little bit about any commonalities you found between yourself and that person. It could be you went to the same school, you are in the same career path, same industry, something more high level about what you're trying to get out of that person, but not so detailed, because you can leave that in the follow-up message. After that person accepts your LinkedIn request, then you can send a follow-up message immediately. I admit that sometimes I forget to do that, and that's pretty bad, because sometimes if someone's nice enough to accept your LinkedIn invitation and open to connecting and networking with you, then you should take extra efforts to follow up with more detailed information about why you want to connect with that person and try to set up a phone call. I've also received different types of follow-up messages. So on the left-hand side, you can see that there's a message that it's harder for me to respond to within LinkedIn. And the reason is because this person gave me a big issue or big problem to solve, which is she's looking for a job, but a lot of companies don't want to hire candidates without full-time working experience in the US. How can I give her some suggestions on this topic? Well, I don't think I can, and I don't think I want to take 15-20 minutes to draft a LinkedIn message to try to tackle all of her concerns. I don't think that is something that could be explained within 20 minutes by writing up an email or message, so I just let it sit there. I didn't respond. Whereas on the right hand side, this person is pretty smart, and he reached out to me. Initially, he said he wanted to learn more about the company I used to work for, but later on I told him that my company doesn't sponsor or doesn't hire people without any working experience in the US, so he suggested that we hop on a quick call to talk through this. I don't mind jumping on 20 minutes call. I'd rather jump on a 20 minutes call than spending 20 minutes to respond to a message, because I hate typing, I hate writing, and I don't think that most of the people that you're reaching out to want to spend that time. So be very careful about how to frame your request. Maybe the end goal is still the same, but the approach should be more thoughtful. Also, I think in the virtual world during the pandemic, if it's hard for the other person to meet up in person, which I understand is probably pretty tough for most people to want to meet a stranger in person, the best way is to jump on a Zoom call or just a quick, easy phone call. I would keep it as small of a request as possible initially, so I would suggest 15 minutes. And if the person is very enthusiastic and willing to help me beyond that time, then I will still limit the phone conversation to be no more than 30 minutes, because if that person feels drained, the energy and time are drained after the first initial interaction with you, then it could discourage that person to further jump on the call with you in the future. So I will make this informational interview almost like an interview. You have to do some research on this person beforehand, read the LinkedIn profile carefully. If you connect with this person through WeChat, read their past feeds and learn a bit more about their personal life. I think as Chinese Americans, we have this huge advantage of using WeChat to build that more personal connection beyond LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn you can probably only see things like their professional backgrounds, where they went to school, what they did in school, what they did at work, some posts or comments or links that they shared on LinkedIn, but that's pretty much it, all about their professional life. Whereas on WeChat, if you connect with someone, you can actually read their past chat feed and see if you guys have any similarities. I did that before. When I reach out to some people on WeChat, I read from their WeChat post that they used to travel somewhere that I also travel to. I can use that as a common topic to talk about when we actually jump on the call. So be prepared with questions about the company and role and the person you're networking with, that you're trying to get a referral from. Then follow up with a nice thank you note shortly after the call. And here's a very important thing, is to show gratitude and offer to return this favor in the future. Even if you're a student, or even if you're not in the same industry as the other person, there's always a way for you to give back, I believe. And at the very minimum, send them a thoughtful thank you note, and that will warm their heart and make them more willing to help you in the future. So networking with investment mindset is to keep in mind that careers are a jungle gym, not a ladder. Most likely, a lot of people won't keep climbing the ladder within the same company for the most part. It's not like our parents' generation. By networking with people from diverse industries and fields, you can gain insights into other industries that you may potentially want to move into in the future, elevate your thinking and broaden your vision. This is very true, especially if you want to become an entrepreneur, or if you want to join a startup. You're not going to be just pigeonholed to doing one thing over and over again and become a subject matter expert. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to create your own business, you want to be working on a side hustle, you need to network, because these people will introduce you to their network and their resources and give you potential business opportunities. If you only network with people in your industry, then chances are you might not find a lot of prospects in that industry. Also, I want to kind of highlight two types of people when it comes to networking: people who are value investor and people who are speculator. In networking, it's almost like an exchange, but in the format of a social currency. You don't always have to pay the other person to share knowledge and resources and network with you, their network with you. But if you can sort of create some sort of bartering, it's not like a bartering system. Long time ago, back in the days, our ancestors have to barter because there's no currency. So they would establish a mutually beneficial relationship to exchange their goods, tools, services, knowledge, support. I don't think that is no longer relevant these days. I think it is still very true these days that even if you work in finance and I work in marketing, there might be some potential ways for us to collaborate. I have friends who work in other industries, and sometimes they don't know how to market their business, and they come to me for advice. So in return, they would also teach me more about real estate or personal finance, and it's like a give and take relationship. Ideally, you should have like a social bank with a lot of karma points. So by offering to help other people, by giving, you also accumulate karma points with that particular individual, so that in the future, if you ever need them to do you a favor, they'll be more likely to help you. Going back to the analogies earlier, which is the value investor, or what I think of as long-term investors. These people care about your potential and characteristics, not necessarily your social status. Perfect example would be like mentors who are in the same industry for many years, but now they're kind of like closer to retirement age. I find that people who are in their late 40s or 50s or 60s, people who are almost like empty nesters, like their kids are going to school, like they're no longer living like a crazy hectic life. They don't have to, like work and then take care of their babies or kids. They're now more free, and they free up their time to want to contribute to the society. They want to feel good about living a meaningful life. That's the mindset that would basically encourage them to start to mentor for free. And they really kind of screen the people who reach out to them. They're not going to help every single person. They only mentor and help people when they see like a piece of themselves in that person. And they want to help that person develop their career long term and see that person grow, because they see it's almost like mirroring their own success. They want to see that person succeed just like they used to get help from other people and succeed. So to attract and build relationships with those people, it's very important for you to show gratitude and keep them posted on your progress. I have mentors that I met through Baruch College mentorship program. Baruch has a really great mentorship program called EOC, Executive on Campus Program. I met some very senior people through that program who have kept in touch over 10 years, and I still keep in touch with them. I'm Facebook friends with them. They see my social posts. They know when I get married. They know when I like achieve certain milestones in my career. And sometimes I meet up with them for coffee or for dinner. And I try to give back to them sometimes. Like when it's Thanksgiving, I send them like a Thanksgiving gift or a card, or I take them out to dinner to let them know I appreciate their mentorship through all these years. And honestly, like most people who are in their 20s and 30s are pretty busy, even early 40s, because they have to be very aggressive in their own, like, especially in New York, people have to be very work driven and results driven to achieve the goals they want to achieve in their junior young years. So they're very busy and very practical. If you reach out to those people for referral without any sort of efforts put into it in personalizing the outreach, then chances are they will reject you or decline you. And even when you go to a networking event, a lot of people, I went to several networking events for people who want to get a job in startup world and people who are founders. They're very results driven. If you do your elevator pitch and they feel like you guys are not going to collaborate, they're not going to be able to use you for certain things, they will quickly like look elsewhere and provide the bathroom excuse and just kind of jump out of that meeting. So to attract and build relationship with those type of people, you have to pitch your value proposition to them. And in your self-introduction, you have to show them that you have something that you can provide to them in the long term by kind of gauging their interest in the beginning. So if you're a student or if you're looking to change your jobs, you might be wondering, so how can I use all these networking techniques to win referral? It's best to ask for advice first instead of asking for referral immediately, because people don't help random strangers usually. They need some sort of initial relationship building and rapport to want to put in the extra effort and go extra mile to help you. So I would start off by focusing on building a relationship with them, and don't send the resume until you sense the recipient is interested and open to helping you. That if you're trying to get a referral from random stranger with very limited kind of connection similarities with that person, you gotta go the extra mile and figure out how you can make that relationship mutually beneficial. When you have when you have a phone call with that person, when you have a meeting with that person, listen to that person's stories. Ask thoughtful, provoking questions to kind of gauge what this person is interested in and how can you give back to that person that cater to their interests and needs. And show gratitude frequently. Keep your connection updated on your progress. I already mentioned that. Lastly, don't burn the bridge, because I've seen people who I have referred people who just kind of turn their backs on me after they get the job. I've also seen people who got their referrals through a former coworker and quit the job within 3 months. Don't do that, because you're gonna burn the bridge and your reputation will travel pretty fast in that industry, and you'll get blacklisted by a lot of people. I found it very helpful to join or start a nonprofit organization or some sort of project or initiative that will allow you to use the platform itself, not just your personal brand, to network with people who are more senior and high level. So one of the main benefits of having Techstar as my nonprofit organization is that I can use it as an excuse to network with people who are more senior in their career in corporate America and ask them to share their insights and experience with junior Chinese professionals working in the US. Oftentimes they're very receptive and willing to help, to give back to the society. So definitely think about how you can tap into that technique or strategy. You could also introduce people in your network to each other after learning their interests and needs. So I know that a lot of people in my social circle, they either live in the same area, around the same area, or they're interested in starting their own business, or they're looking for specific resources, or they happen to start a job at a company that other friends also worked at. I usually would reach out to them, congratulate them, and let them know I can be of service and help to them if they need. Do them a favor whenever they ask for it, because when people are in need, like that's when they're most like desperate and open to your advice and your help and your support. 中文有句话叫雪中送炭好过锦上添花. When someone is in a very successful, happy stage, they're usually not looking for anything extra. Like when people come to them and congratulate them, they usually just kind of disregard or like they don't really value that as much as when they're in a desperate stage, when they really need help. That's when they really keep in mind of your help for the long run. And just try to establish a good reputation in your community or network so people are more willing to trust and help you. Hopefully my advice is somewhat helpful to you. Feel free to follow me on my YouTube.